Just look at it. If they're projecting for $2.16 billion to be spent on podcasts by 2030, and then they're projecting for companies to make roughly $131 billion in ad revenue, why are you not trying to find out a space? Find a space. Now, I like to take it a step further. I think all of the people that make this type of money are going to be the people that's mastered the art of communication. It's going to be the people that's mastered the art of finding the right guests to serve their audience and relaying the proper message. Those are going to be the people that's getting that $131 million. Those are going to be the people, right? So now let's go a step further. Welcome to the Man Lucrative Podcast. I am your host, the one only Magneto 7 in the building, man. I'm here. Everybody that was on TikTok earlier, everybody that was on Facebook earlier, I'm sorry, but I cannot service all of y'all today. Something's going on with the feed, and it just told me that I was locked out, so I can't do multi-streaming today. So if y'all are looking at this right now, go ahead to Instagram. That's the only chat I got up right now. So anyway, what's up? And in between me talking, I am going to try to get YouTube and I'm going to try to get Facebook back up. But right now, it's just Instagram. So. But anyway, what's up? I'm going to give y'all a little shout out. Let me see. I got to make sure I shout everybody out that was here on TikTok earlier. I saw Trey Kelly. I saw Big Daryl. I saw Angela. I saw Jacob. And there's a few other people that was in the pre-show. But what's up? Right now, what up, Will Gamble? What up, big dog? See, I said Will, not the other name. I said Will, but what's up? King Oyum, what's up? I put an L in there. I wasn't supposed to put an L in there. But what's up? Welcome. Today we're going to talk about a whole lot of money, too. It's a whole lot of money in this mug. We're talking about money today. But anyway, let's see. Let's get started. And I'm trying to stall to give myself some time to get the chats back up. So, yeah, breaking the fourth wall. Give me a second. You say, let's get it. Hey. All right, let's see. So I'm getting queued back up. Everybody should be back up on Facebook. And something's going on with this headphone right now. So I don't like it. But anyway, first off, I got a small PSA for all of my people that's building brands. Especially for the people that's just doing, hold up, this is gonna eat me alive. This is headphones. I should go back to the in-ears, and y'all did try to tell me to do in-ears. So I'm gonna try the in-ears next time. But anyway. The importance of branding. Let me start by my Walmart trip, because I had a Walmart trip earlier this week, as everybody is probably still doing all the Walmart trips because y'all got kids in school, and y'all got to make sure that they have everything they need, right? So this is a small, I'm going to try to take like 10 minutes tops, no longer than 10 minutes. So I went to Walmart earlier this week, right? The missus was a little bit sick, so she was like, I need some Gatorade. So I was like, I'm going to go to Walmart. Every man knows y'all try to take these Walmart trips. I don't want to expose us. But I'm kind of exposing us just a little bit. So she said she needed me to go to Walmart to get some Gatorade. So I was like, all right, cool. These are doing some crazy stuff, so I'm going to just take these off for today. All right, no headphones for today. There it is. I said it. All right, so anyway, I went to Walmart, and I'm walking down the little alleyway from my car, and I see this dude staring at me. The dude is literally staring. So y'all know I'm in Decatur. I'm like, I don't know if you staring at me because you trying to plot, like whether you about to ask for some money, you trying to see what car it came from, you're going to go try to check my door, see if the door locked. I got a lot of things going through my mind, right? As most dudes that's like real men, which I don't want to get blocked on this episode. But as most of us dudes do, we're going to be scoping out the scene. I see you seeing me. I'm going to show you, I'm going to kind of give you the presence that I see you looking, but I'm not going to walk as fast into this store because I see you staring at me. Why you staring at me? What 50 Cent say back in the day? If you're a fan, don't stare at me, man. I hate to get locked up for clapping one of my fans. I think 50 said something like that. He said something like that. I hate to get locked up for clapping one of my fans. I think he said that. But anyway, I'm like, I know a lot of people, especially dudes. I got a sausage party going on all of my platforms. 80% dudes. That's why I say sausage party. So I know I got majority dudes that look at the podcast, majority dudes that look at all my stuff on Instagram, see me making beats. I'm like, all right, cool. Before I pass judgment and think that this is a crackhead that's about to ask me for some stuff, let me just observe and see what's going on. So the dude's staring. He's still staring. We walk past each other like this. So I just hear somebody walk past me say, hey, like the shirt, big dog, dope. So I'm like the shirt. And I'm like, is he talking to me? I'm going to keep walking. I don't know if he's talking to me. He said, hey, purple shirt, like the shirt. I said, oh, he's talking to me. I got a purple shirt on. All right, cool. So I looked down. I was like, oh, I got one of my own shirts on. The No More Poverty. Matter of fact, I'll show you this. This is what it looks like. I don't have a shirt, but I got a hoodie somewhere here. Can you pass me the hoodie? The hoodie's not in the studio. All right, fine. But y'all seen my No More Poverty music shirts. Y'all seen it. He said, yo, like the shirt. So I turned around and said, oh, appreciate it, big dog. Then he starts to walk back towards me. So now, y'all know me. I have to choose whether I'm going to entertain this conversation right now or I'm going to just try to hurry up and get done with it. But y'all know me. I chose the second option. I'm going to stay and have a conversation for a little bit. So he's telling me, yo, so many young kids, so many of these youngins need to know the difference between bars and writing good music and this and that. And I just think, yeah, that's poverty music. I was like, actually, I said, the funny thing is when I came up with the concept for poverty music, it was a joke. It was a joke for me doing music reviews and people submit music. And I say, oh, that's poverty music. And we all laugh in the chat. They put the laughing faces. And then I bring out Mr. Candy because my wife got me a poster board of Mr. Candy from Django Unchained. So I bring out Mr. Candy and say, ha, 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 it's poverty music. Ha, ha, dude, poverty music. Then I put Mr. Candy down and go to the next music review. But I always give out some type of gems after I call somebody's music poverty music. Always give out some type of gems. So I told him, I said, actually, what you think is poverty music is exactly what I think it is. I said, and the term is actually, it's not for just the dudes that's saying they shooting people. It ain't just for that. It ain't just for the girls to say it ain't just for that. It's for a lot of other things that just centered around bad music, low quality music, music that takes resources from a community, i.e., this is something I think music takes resources from a community. If I let somebody come in the studio, notice I say let, I own this studio. But if I let somebody come in the studio, the first bars that come out their mouth is, I'm getting money. All right, cool. I'm with it. Getting money. Where we about to go with this? If the next couple of bars that follows, I'm getting money, I mean, I'm mad beeps. But if the next couple of things that follow that is, I just so-and-so, I did a B&E, I drove by so-and-so, I did this to get the money. I can't, that's poverty music. Because you officially took resources from somebody's household. You took somebody's life to get the money that you got. I don't personally think that that's worth the money. Even people, like it's been a few clips and everybody, thank y'all for sending me clips on Instagram. I am going to cover a few of them today. But today I more so want to give some value. I think it's time to turn the heat up, especially for everybody that's content creators. So please share the live if y'all on Instagram. I don't have any other feed up just yet. I got locked out for 10 minutes. So somewhere down the line, I'm going to get YouTube and Facebook back up. But anyway, today we're going to talk about all of these deals that's happening in the content podcast space. And then I'm going to kind of break it down based off of musicians, what I think we should be doing to start leveling up. But anyway, back to the story. So I'm talking to the dude about the poverty music t-shirt. And he said, man, I appreciate that. How can I get the tee? How can I get one of those tees? I was like, oh, I appreciate it, bro. I show him the website. He starts to check out. Yo, you got the black and white? All right, bet. You got black and white. Oh, you got the gray joints? And he starts to fill the card out. He's starting to check out. He's starting to place an order for my merch in front of me. First word I got for the people. Make sure that whatever merch you're trying to sell to people, make sure they want it. Make sure you can explain it. Make sure that merch can be attached to some bigger cause, right? Make sure the merch can be attached to some bigger cause. You don't want to you don't just want to have a t-shirt to say Big Juicy. Big Juicy. Like, okay, I see that you got a pink shirt with white letters that say Big Juicy, but what does that actually mean? Does it stand for something? Because I noticed this. This is what I noticed. A lot of people want to support independent artists. A lot of people want to support independent artists, but a lot of independent artists are failing at are creating merch, are creating products that they can attach themselves to. Me as a man, a 40-year-old man, I'm not going to walk down nobody's street wearing the pink shirt with white letters that say Big Juicy. No. Now it might be some 40-year-old men. It might be some 40-year-old men that wear a Big Juicy shirt. It's just not for me. That's not my demo. That's not what I believe in. I got 2 daughters and a wife. Why would I wear a shirt that say Big Juicy? Unless I'm trying to be funny. If I'm trying to be funny, all right, maybe. But anyway, back to the story. So I start to walk off. The dude starts to walk his separate way. Then I just finished talking to my Lucrative community Sunday night on our coaching call, because I coach musicians on Sunday. If y'all want to join my Lucrative community, links in the bio. Lucrative community, $20 a month, free music reviews. I coach you every week. All right? We get into it. But anyway, I keep walking, and this lady comes up. She says, I heard you talking to him about the t-shirt. I ain't want to say nothing, but I love the t-shirt. Like, what? So can you tell me a little bit more about it? It can't just be that. Her exact words, it can't just be that. Well, all you do. I said, I got a nonprofit organization. I help musicians figure out how to make income. In a nutshell, that's all I do. I got a nonprofit organization. I help independent musicians figure out how to make income. Whether that's from a secondary business, whether that's from them branding on social media, whether that's leveling up their production for my producers, whether that's an artist doing something. My brand is centered around helping other people's brands. So she was like, amazing. Well, I got a nonprofit organization, and I'm looking for some people like you to come kind of mentor the men and the females in our community, because we need strong male role models. I was like, okay, great. I said, it's funny you say that. I just finished talking to my community last night about wanting to partner with somebody to get in the school systems even more within Georgia. Right now we're going to go to Detroit. We're going to go to Texas. Then we're going to go to Albany, New York. Right now, and Charlotte, North Carolina. We got a lot of different hot spots that we're going to be going into the educational space. I say, that's dope that you're looking for somebody to fill that need. She says, well, look, here's my card. She gives me her card. I brought the card on the pod for proof, because a lot of podcasts would be lying. People be lying. And like, I'm going to let y'all get it how y'all live. I'm just saying, I'm looking. I see it, and I'm looking. And I don't like it. But anyway, she starts to tell me that, and I'm like, yo, the only thing I could think was, what if my brand was on some bummy, self-absorbed type stuff? What if my brand said Magneto 7 the GOAT? That's stupid. Who do you know want to walk around these streets with the Magneto 7 the GOAT t-shirt on? It's stupid. It makes no sense. It's bad branding. That's all I'm saying. Bad branding. So, to sum up the weekend, everybody, all of my musicians, all of my producers, everybody that's in the chat, everybody that's watching this on Patreon, everybody that's watching this on YouTube, if you're currently trying to build a brand, and a sustainable brand that people want to pay for, they want to wear it, they want to talk about it, come up with something worth the time. I always like to say, and I just finished doing my masterclass this week. Yo, shouts out to everybody that did my masterclass. I appreciate y'all. I had roughly 23 people. I gave 2 freebies away. Everybody didn't pay. I gave 2 freebies away this week. But anyway, everybody that paid for my masterclass, they learned a lot. The last section of my masterclass was centered around branding and developing products. And one of my main things, and we're going to talk about it more the more we get into the podcast, but one of my main things with branding is make sure that you can attach your brand to something that people need. Needed that game. Hey man, I'm here for it, dog. I'm gonna be here for like an hour on Instagram. Oh yeah. Also, I forgot to mention everybody on Instagram. Just like I did a pre-show, then I do the podcast. I'm doing a post show for everybody on Instagram to ask questions, and we do a whole question and answer segment. And I'm here to help. I'm here to help. But anyway, what I was telling the people last night on the last half of our coaching call, our masterclass is make sure that you can attach your brand to something that's utility based. Attach your brand to something that's utility based. What is a utility? Just break it down. If you think of the bills that you pay in your house right now, the bills you pay in your house, electricity, water, food, maybe clothes, because everybody got to have some type of clothes, but does those clothes have a utility to it? I.e. cargo pants. Cargo pants for a contractor is what? Game. You can put nails in one pocket. You can put a tape measure in one pocket. You can put a pen in another pocket. Does your stuff have a utility to it? The people that figure out how to have utilities centered around their brand are going to be the people that win. Those are going to be the people that win. All right? So let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. I saw a lot of people sent me the clips of the deals that's been happening on centered around the podcast, and I definitely want to cover those today. Just because I've been saying this for at least a year or two, maybe a year or two. I've been talking about the same thing over and over. The same thing has been everybody figure out something to push. Everybody, I don't care if you are a musician, I don't care if you are a building contractor, I don't care if you got a restaurant, whatever you do, figure out something that you can push that people need, right? Something you can push that people need, and you could grow in the space. One of the things for me has been podcasting. I'm going to tell you why, and then we're going to get to the deals that's been happening. But one thing I say, the reason I keep telling musicians to start podcasts, or restaurant owners, or married people, or single parent moms, or single parent dads, or male dudes that like to do male grooming and have your beard and all that stuff. The reason I keep telling people to do podcasts or long form content is because those are going to be the things that you can monetize over a long period of time. Much like if you look at a news station, you look at CNN, you look at Fox, you look at ABC, you look at NBC. Everybody that I coach, I tell them to conduct their social media as if it's a news network or a TV station or anything that's long form, something that keeps people's attention for a long duration of time. I coach everybody to do that. The reason I coach them to do that is this. You got 1,000 different options to monetize that same piece of content, right? You got 1,000 different ways to monetize the same piece of content, i.e. this. Right now I'm shooting a podcast. This is the Mad Lucrative Podcast. The Mad Lucrative Podcast. Episode, I didn't even think I said episode. It was episode 160. I just started. This is episode 160. That means I'm on my 160th episode 162. Episode 162. My bad. I'm on my 162nd. This is a lot to say. 162nd episode of the podcast. Now, let's break this down. What have I developed along from episode 1 to episode 162? What have I developed along the way? I'll tell you this. This is what I've developed. One thing that I've developed is this, a better way to communicate. I've learned to look at all of the options in communication, and then I decide on how I'm going to relay a message based off of the needs of the person, right? Case in point, if I'm talking to a room full of middle school or elementary kids, I'm not going to tell them, yo, you got to look at the return. You got to look at the return on investment. You got to make sure you run ads. If you run the ads need to be centered around the analytics of the people that's following you. If the analytics of I'm not going to break that down to middle school students and elementary school students like that. I'm going to tell them how many friends you got in your room right now. How many, look in the classroom. How many people in this classroom do you know? Start naming them. All right, well, I know Sarah, I know Jessica, I know so and so, I know so and so, I know this person, I know this person, I know this person, I know this person, right? All right, cool. Now that we know all of these people, I'm looking at everything from that perspective. Like when we're breaking down analytics for everything for middle school students, elementary school students, everything should be broken down to the level in which the person should understand, right? Got to do that. We got to do that. So I think that's been a lot of the hiccup. What up, y'all? What up? What up? What up? What up? We back. We're officially back. So let's get started. The first point that we want to talk about. I didn't get to talk about that stuff with Atlanta stuff, but anyway, let's listen to this. And then let's start talking about it because I think this is a lot to be said. Shouts out to David Shams.
Yeah, man, another win for the podcasting industry. Shouts out to the Kels brothers. Just signed $100 million podcast deal with Amazon, and I get so excited when I see this stuff because of all the people that are saying podcasting is dead, it's on a decline. And I think when people say it, they're talking from an emotional standpoint or from their own perspective. Right. And maybe in your world, things aren't working out so well for podcasting, but podcasting is so amazing, and I'm seeing so many people that are building their brands. Maybe they're not getting $100 million deal, but they're actually using the podcast to grow their actual business. So there's so many different things, but when people say podcasting is declining, there's no way that they're looking at the numbers. It has to be an emotional comment. But let me take you down memory lane real quick. Can I give you all a quick podcasting history lesson real quick?
Shan's be so spicy.
Here's the history lesson. So back in 2020, Joe Rogan got a $100 million podcast deal. Now that was so unprecedented in the industry. Nobody even seen anything like that. Now we're in that the pandemic and people are at home, so it just pops and it just goes crazy. And we see podcasts starting to pop up. It was great. That was 2020. 2021, the very next year, Alex Cooper got a $60 million deal for a Call Her Daddy podcast. So first off, Barstool gave her like $1 million or $2 million or something like that, built it on this one network. Then she went and got $60 million from Spotify.
Right.
Incredible win for the industry. That's awesome. So that was 2020, 2021. 2022, I can't recall anything off the top of my head. But let's move on to 2023, 3 years after Joe Rogan. So 2023 is here, and we see some more action in the podcasting space. Shouts out to Wallow and Gilly. There was a lot of numbers in the media, 80 million, 100 million. I asked Wallow, and he didn't want to tell me for real. He told me it was sizable, but he didn't give me an exact number. So
never.
And y'all know, I'm a drill down until I get this answer, and I just couldn't. He just didn't give me the number, okay? But Cam and Mace that same year, 2023, which was last year, they got a $30 million deal, which Cam was public. I think he put it in a rap, something like that. Give me that $30 million, a rapido. So in 4 years, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, we've had some sizable podcasting deals, right? I mean, that represents, let's just say Wallow and Gilly got 80. That's 270 million. Yep. Nothing to sneeze at. So let's move on to this year. This year that's not even done yet, 2024. We see a reported $250 million deal from Joe Rogan. Which he got $100 million a while ago, but now he's at $250 million. Alex Cooper got a deal from, I think, Sirius XM for $100 to $150 million. This is all this year now. We see Kels Brothers signed a $100 million deal. I mean, what's that? 500 million so far in reported podcast deals. There's another one nobody's even talking about. That I think it was in July. Actually, let me show you. Hold on. So let me introduce you to Dax Shepard, who got the, I think it's called the Armchair Expert podcast, 80 million.
Yep.
And it's not about these isolated, let me show you Dax. It's not about these isolated deals. It's about the whole industry. Right. When Bitcoin goes up to 70 million, 80 million, that 100% affects every other coin.
Come on, big dog. Come on, big dog.
XRP goes up. All the altcoins go up.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but y'all get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the same day they signed Dax to $80 million, I'm sure a $2 million deal that just didn't make the headlines got cut. A $5 million, $10 million, $3 million, 100,000.
So
I'm saying you could be in the number. The industry is not going anywhere. More and more people are listening to podcasts. That's why, hold on. That's why all of the people that you see that are like the people that are spending this money are companies like Spotify and Amazon.
yep.
Well, do you think Spotify and Amazon have more information about the uptick of podcasting than we do as emotional consumers?
Yo.
Do you think Amazon's dumb?
All right. Shouts out to David Shands, man. Shouts out to David Shands. He has a dope podcast called the Social Proof Podcast. He's really dope. Everybody's down here in Atlanta. We all in Atlanta. So I want to add to a little bit of what he said. Everybody that's watching this on YouTube, we should be back up now. Shouts out to everybody on YouTube. Angela, what's up? Darius, what up? Timothy, what up? Big Mike, what up? We got a few more people on Instagram. What up? Haitian Mac, what up? D Cypher, what up? What is this? UL, the producer, what up? All right, so anyway, this was going on. This is what's going on. And I love the fact that he talked about the Kelsey brothers getting a $100 million deal. And the deal is actually with a sub company that Amazon came out with called Amazon Wondery. Amazon Wondery. All right. It's a premium podcast network, studio space, all of that stuff, all in one, right? So that is who the Kelsey brothers got their podcast with. A lot of people in the chat said they're not even podcasters. Right. They're not podcasters. But this is my point. This goes back to the original point that we talked about when I first started this pod, right? I have been advising everybody to at least try to start a pod, right? Because what's going to happen is this. What David didn't get a chance to go over, which we're going to break down a little bit more today, is the reason these companies are putting the money into the podcast because they realize how many people are going to listen to podcasts and how many different ways can you advertise within one podcast. How many times can they advertise different products within one podcast? Think like this. If a musician is to release one album, everybody's attention span is somewhat down to about 2 to 3 minutes. 3 minutes kind of being the top, 2 minutes kind of being the mandatory mid, right? 2 minutes, right? Just for music. Now, if you think about podcasts, the average podcast ain't gonna be under 20 minutes. Nothing's gonna be under 20 minutes. The average podcast is about an hour long. How many ads can be ran within one podcast? I'm going to tell you just on my one podcast, within an hour, we might run 5 ads. We might run 5 ads within an hour, right? I'm bottom level pod too. Think about it like this. I stopped posting my stuff on Spotify because I hate Spotify. I might go back to it though because I need that bad. But I stopped posting on Spotify. I went just to YouTube and Patreon, right? So you got to think about it from a brand perspective. Let's say the guy, whoever made this phone case, say, I need to market this phone case in front of as many people as possible. They're going to look at the analytics from different people's pages, and then they send emails. They're going to send mass emails to as many people as possible. The first option might be the influencer, because that might be the cheapest option. Might be the influencer. Then they're going to start looking for the podcast people. And they're going to say, well, look, we can spend about $500 a month to market this one product. So we're going to look at the Mad Lucrative podcast. That's this podcast. We're going to look at the Mad Lucrative podcast. And you say, well, we can spend $500 with him. Then we can spend another $500 with all these other podcasts. My podcast consists of I think 16,000 people on YouTube right now. 16,000 people watch. Well, after I started talking about the debate and all that stuff, they were like, ban this nigga. Get him out of here. Right? So I went back down to my niche. My niche consists of creative musicians. Everybody in the entrepreneurial space, that's who my podcast speaks to. So if the person is trying to sell this phone case sees that I got 16,000 people that I'm talking to on a consistent basis, I probably got email lists. I probably got social media networks. I probably go live on Instagram or TikTok or I probably go live. How many different ways can I market his product? So then we come up with a number. They say, all right, I pay you $1,000 a month. I'll pay you $1,000 a month to market 3 days a week. I'll pay you $1,000 a month to market 3 days a week. They're going to look at my stuff. They're going to say, okay, you got music reviews on Monday. You do the podcast live on Thursdays. It goes to Patreon on Fridays. On Monday mornings, you now put the same YouTube episode broken down on the same Patreon episode. You take out the pre-show, and then you post that part on YouTube, which is another piece of your following. All right, cool. I pay you $1,000. So now you think about it from a branding standpoint. That's why all of these companies like Netflix, because I'm assuming Netflix is getting into the podcast space too. So you got Netflix, premium offer. You got YouTube, premium offer. You got Spotify, premium offer. Now you got Amazon doing a premium offer on podcasts. That's why they spending money. People like me are going to keep creating content. We're going to keep making content. We're going to keep getting better at the content. The videos are going to get better. The edits are going to get better. The stuff that we put out, the clips on social media networks is going to get better. What happens if I so happen to put this company sitting in the background on one of my videos and I'm marketing it subconsciously to my audience? Now that boosts their sales up on their products, and they say, oh, we marketed it with the Mad Lucrative podcast just for one time, but all the clips that went out, and he may have had a viral moment with the clip that went out with our product sitting in the background. Thank you for marketing it. And I'm going to say, yo, congratulations. You owe me some more money because I didn't. You owe me money because you didn't pay for this. But anyway, that's why these companies are going towards the podcast space. They're gonna keep putting money into it. I'm gonna show you these stats. Look at these stats right quick. All right, so right now, as of now, we got Joe Rogan that did 250 this year. Shouts out to Joe Rogan. Call of Daddy did 60 million. Based off the Cam and May stuff, they did about 80 million. Right? And these are just regular pods, right? This is my thing though. I challenge everybody that's watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on Patreon, everybody's watching this on Instagram, I challenge you to do this. Go Google top paid podcasts in 2024. Google top paid podcasts in 2024. Then after you Google top paid black urban podcasts in 2024. Look at the number differences. I don't want to make this a white and black thing. I'm not trying to do that. But I want to open up the conversation and open up some reasoning why this might be happening the way it's happening, right? I'm looking at Joe Budden podcast. I love Joe Budden podcast. Shouts out to Joe. Podfather. He's dope. Content's fire. But this is what I'm looking at. Why are these podcasts not getting they're not getting the same numbers that a Joe Rogan would get? Why are they not getting the same numbers that a Call Her Daddy would get? Why are they not getting these numbers? I would like to say a lot of this stuff might be because the subject matter of the podcast might be limited to a real small group of people. The subject matter of the podcast might be limited to a real small group of people. So in return, if your fan base that listens to your podcast all the time is limited, guess what? That's gonna limit your ad dollars. That's gonna limit how many people want to endorse your product. That's gonna limit a lot of reach that you could have fixed just with changing different subject matters out. So I want to challenge all of the black podcasters. Try to find a niche. Yes, find a niche, but try to make sure your niche is not pigeonholed to urban black stuff, right? I want to challenge everybody to do that. Cause now look at this. This is something else I wanted to see. As of now, between now and 2024, they're saying by 2024 to 2030, they're projecting. Watch this. They're projecting for all companies to have spent over $2.16 billion. $2.16 billion is what they're projecting for companies to spend on podcasts by 2030. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'll say it again. By 2030, they're projecting for companies to spend over $2.16 billion. Why are they spending that money? Why are they spending that money? And then on the ad side of things, now look at this. By 2030, they're thinking that companies would be making ad revenue. They're projecting the companies to be making roughly $131 billion projections. As of right now, it says about 83% of everybody in the U.S. listens to podcasts. So if you got 83%, 83% of all people are currently listening to podcasts in the U.S. Why are you not trying to find a niche to serve one of those people, one of those groups of people? Why are you not trying to find a niche? Because look at it. Just look at it. If they're projecting for $2.16 billion to be spent on podcasts by 2030, and then they're projecting for companies to make roughly $131 billion in ad revenue, why are you not trying to find out a space? Find a space. Now, I like to take it a step further. I think all of the people that make this type of money are going to be the people that's mastered the art of communication. It's going to be the people that's mastered the art of finding the right guests to serve their audience and relaying the proper message. Those are going to be the people that's getting that $131 million. Those are going to be the people, right? So now let's go a step further. What does it mean to find your voice and push the right content? What does it mean to find your voice and push the right content? I like to go here. I think a lot of people, especially in the podcast space, are not really trying to find voices as much as they're trying to find the trend. Finding your voice and finding the trend that works is just it's different. The really, really good podcasters don't follow trends. The really good podcasters, they don't have to follow the trend. They create the trend. Case in point. First of this year, what happened? It was a moment, I think that was in January or February, one or the other. It was in January or February, one or the other. But what happened? Everybody saw Cat Williams go on Shannon Sharp's podcast and change the world. He made all of the people that we consider the GOATs in the comedy industry, he made them look crazy by doing what? He didn't necessarily, I can't say he told the truth, because I personally, I feel like he told the truth. But if you were to ask anybody else, they'll say, oh, it's fabricated truth, whatever. But either way, it's just like a rapper. A rapper could get in this booth. I got a booth in the studio right now. A rapper could get in that booth and talk about all the money that he got. He ain't got nothing, though. This mug came over on the MARTA bus. But he could rap about the money that he got. He could rap about all the women he got. He could rap about all of the Balenciaga, the Yeezy. He could rap about all of this stuff and none of it be true. But guess what? It was entertaining. Even with the Drake and Kendrick beef, everything that both of them said about each other could have been all lies. It could have been Donald Trump voice. Lies. It's just lies, right? All of it could have been lies. But guess what? They made it very entertaining. We talked about it. It was in everybody's pieces of content. It circulated and made a lot of people a lot of money, right? And when I say make a lot of people a lot of money, let's do this. I think a lot of people that's on social media don't really understand the way this stuff works. The way it works is this. When I say Cat Williams and when I'm using Cat Williams and Drake, the reason I'm using it is I know I've seen a lot of content circulating around those two subjects for 2024. A lot of content, right? How many people you think made a lot of money collecting off of just reporting on what they saw? How many people do you think got a bigger fan base just reporting on what they saw? A lot. So now that's how that's how content works though. When you do content the right way, it'll affect different people in different ways. So now I want to challenge everybody else, especially the black podcasters. Don't try to follow the trend as much as you can. Just find stuff that works in your space. Find stuff that works in your space. For me, I know that a lot of the things that my content is centered around is musicians, it's going to be artists, it's going to be singers, it's going to be rappers, and it's going to be content. And that content could be a breakdown of music. It could be a breakdown of video editing. It could be a breakdown of the right equipment to use. It could be a breakdown going into the different types of engineers that I could interview. It could even go back to how many different artists can I interview in different spaces. Then I can not only break it down to that point. I think this is what a lot of the black podcasters mess up. Because you're black don't mean you have to interview everybody black. Hello. People are everywhere. I think that's what's pigeonholing a lot of people. Just because you are black don't mean that everybody that you interview has to be black. I challenge everybody to go out here, find some more audiences, find some more people to serve, find out the things that they need. Some people might actually need your advice. Sometimes the advice that you have for somebody could be as basic as something that happened to you a year ago or something that happened to you 2 years ago. But what happens is we overlook the lesson that happens within the moment, the lesson within the bad seasons, the lesson that happens in the good seasons. It's a lot of lessons that happen. Case in point, right? It's a lot of lessons that I learned while I was going through the broke season, centered around how to manage money better, how to do better with building relationships, how to find more resources, how to find where people spend the most money. All of these things you start to learn when you're in your broke season. So what happens? Now that is officially a skill that you can show somebody else how to get to it. Just because they're not in your same industry don't mean that a lot of your advice couldn't apply to their situation. A lot of the people just you're overlooking the lesson that's happening in the bad season. Everybody open your eyes to the lessons. Now in the good season, I could have learned, I just got this Grammy. Before the Grammy, I just got nominated for this Grammy. I just got this Billboard Award. I just got this stuff. What does this mean? How long could I be here? What changes could be happening in the space that I need to be paying attention to before the change comes? I need to start pivoting. While I got some money in the pocket, I need to start pivoting. Where can I start putting money? Is real estate an option? If it's not real estate, okay, what should I be doing? This is the stuff that you can start asking yourself when things are good. This is stuff that you ask yourself. These are the things that you ask yourself why things are good. Because what happens is, once we look up, we hit a lick, as my street friends would say. You hit a lick, you came up, and everything's good. Everything's gravy. What happens? Most of the time, you start spending your money on frivolous stuff because you feel like you're going to be good for a long time. If you keep spending the money on frivolous stuff, what happens? When the down season comes, everybody's just scrambling, trying to figure out where to get money from. Where you could have learned the lesson while you had the money, now you got to learn the lesson over again while you broke. This is the stuff I'm saying. Like, we got to pay attention. So now, again, servicing the people that need your brand, servicing everybody, making sure you're communicating properly. I had a horrible, and my wife would tell me about it when I first was starting, but she was like, everything that you say sounds like, it sounds loaded, like you don't really want people to win. It sounds like you mad. It's like you angry at people. And for me, it was just it was the act of doing the podcast, like the whole theatrics of it all. I wasn't mad at nobody. I was just trying to relay the message the best way possible. But I learned, guess what? The way I was relaying that message may have been turning off a certain audience. I could have been turning off a lot of people from my brand just from my delivery. So what did I do? I didn't necessarily, I did. When I first was starting to try to pivot, I was mad. I was like, why are you trying to call me out? Why are you doing this? I learned that, yes, you do have to do certain things differently. Everybody don't come off. Everybody is not from your block. Everybody is not from your city. Sometimes you got to start pivoting and changing the way you relay messages. Why? So you could be in that $100 million group. So you could be in that $80 million group. I hate for anybody to create a podcast and think that after 10 episodes that you won. I didn't start getting it until around episode 80. Around episode 80, I started to get it, and now I'm on 162. And it's still more stuff to learn. Also, think about this. This is something I like to think about, and I don't have too much more to talk about outside of this, because I just wanted to make sure that I drilled the lesson home for the people that should be creating content. To double back on what Shans was saying, the reason I keep telling everybody, all of the musicians that I coach and all the restaurant owners I coach, the reason why I keep telling them to start podcasts is to better their communication. It makes their communication better. To get on a better schedule, because podcasting makes you get on a certain schedule. If you're not used to recording content on a consistent basis, podcasting and building a following and people coming to you weekly for a certain message, it'll get you used to just delivering on something every week. That's another thing that podcasting will do. A third thing that it'll do is give you infinite options to market other brands. And watch this. Before you market another brand, I would challenge you to find your own brand and start marketing it on your own podcast. Start running ads for your own brands on your own podcast. For me, it's the No More Starving Artist 501c3. For me, it's the Mad Lucrative podcast. For me, it's the merch. Stop making poverty music, right? All of those parts, all those things for me is promoting coaching calls. All of that's part of my brand. I challenge you to find your part of your brand. What is going to be the thing that you are able to sell people on a consistent basis where they're able to get some type of value from the thing that you're offering? How many times can you deliver it on a week-to-week basis? And then after you start to learn how to communicate that properly on podcasts, how can you start making content around it? What does the content look like? Don't overlook certain steps. It's certain things that we should be paying attention to that we're not paying attention to that's killing our brands. It is absolutely detonating our brands. All right, I'm going to read the chat. Let me read the chat right quick. Hopefully y'all are enjoying this for the day. Hopefully it's informal. Disconnection. We can talk about that next week. We'll talk about it next week. I don't want to talk about that today. All right. When you said connecting your brand to a product or service, can you explain? Sure. So when I say connecting your brand to, I thought I explained that. I'll do it again. But when I talk about connecting your brand to a product or service, I'm saying try to meet the need of a person versus just offering a product. Try to meet the need of a person versus just offering them a product, right? Case in point. If you got what's something easy? You got t-shirts. You're selling t-shirts, right? Everybody knows t-shirts are like the basic start of building a brand. That's the easiest thing you can get your hands on. You can get a screen print machine, print your own t-shirts, or you can pay a company to print them for you, or you can do them joints drop shipping. There's a lot of options for t-shirts. You don't necessarily have to spend your own money, but you can partner with somebody to print your t-shirts. That's one part, right? T-shirts. Now, if you go from t-shirts and you want to connect that t-shirt to a product, brand, or service, I would try to figure out what thing could be attached. I'm going to do the Jaden Smith. The Jaden Smith is I'm going to come out with a water line. And it's not hard. All you got to do is find a third-party company and slap your label on the water and start selling water. But how many different ways can you flip that? Now you can change that into philanthropy and say, well, I'm going to send 10 cases of water. And everybody know that's not going to be expensive. It ain't a whole lot of bread that's involved with that. But you can start small. Say, I'm sending 10 cases of water to Africa once a month to send them clean water. making a utility, adding a utility to your brand. Now, since it's in the philanthropy space, how many other companies would want to partner with you and say, well, yo, you've been sending 10 cases of water over there a month. We're going to just up the ante. We're going to send 100 cases a month. Now, you've attached yourself to another company that's attached themselves to your brand, and now there's more stuff to promote on social media, but it started from what? The t-shirts. It started from you selling t-shirts, the most basic option in the world. Create some type of utility and attach your brand to the utility. T-shirts ain't enough. T-shirts ain't enough. Let me see what y'all say. What do I think about subscriptions? I love subscriptions. All right, so I don't think we had a chance to cover this. Do we got time? I think we got time. We got about 10 minutes. We got about 10 minutes. All right, cool. So let's talk about subscriptions for a second. The reason I like subscriptions is because it's a controlled environment to do whatever you need to do. Subscriptions, you can get off your products. You can get off your music. You can get off conversations like podcasts. You can get off meetups. You can get off events. You can do a lot of stuff with subscriptions. This is how. Let's say you're a music producer, because I got a lot of people that's producers. What's up? Monetizing the content. Think about it like this. If you're a music producer right now, I could tell you about 30 different ways you can make money off your music. Most music producers are gonna think the top 3. I'm gonna submit my music to a catalog, a music library, and get sync. All right, that's one. Yeah, you can get some money. I give you a clap for that. That's one. But now, other options. You can put your music on YouTube and then license the music from YouTube to other artists and then get paid off of the music that they post. The music that they post they could be selling 1,000 songs off of your one beat, and nobody actually bought the beat. You just licensed the beat to 1,000 other people, and you're collecting and monetizing off of all of their streams. That's another way. A third way, you could start a Patreon like me. Go on Patreon and record your studio sessions, and now repurpose those studio sessions and call it studio session class time, right? And only thing you're doing is stuff that you're already doing. You're recording music on a consistent basis, and you're posting it to Patreon. And now you say, well, it's $4.99 a month. Go ahead and subscribe to me on Patreon, and I'm going to upload a session every week. Guess what? You in the studio every day anyway. And don't get slick with it and say, look, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give y'all my templates. I'm going to send y'all all my templates. And outside of my templates, I'm going to send y'all my drums. And don't only do that. Don't start a competition and say, who was the best person to rap on the beat? Whoever the best person was to rap on the beat, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put the song out. And then don't have a connection with the sound library that you've been sending music to and say, look, I want to make sure this song gets on Fast and Furious. I want to make sure this song gets on the Fox network. Don't do all of that. Guess what? You monetized the whole situation, the whole journey. You made money from producing the beat, and you posted a joint for sale. People leased the beat out. You made money from the people releasing the music on all the DSPs. You made money from people subscribing to you on Patreon. You made money from the song getting licensed on television and all these other things. You made money from people posting it on Reels. Think about it like this. But all of that could be a subscription. You can now, watch this. This is why I have a subscription. Everything that I just told you, I teach people how to do that every week. That's called my Lucrative community. My Lucrative community is $20 a month. I have a nice amount of people that come to me every Sunday on Zoom. I teach them how to do this for themselves. I got people getting bags in my community. But see, this is the thing. I think a lot of people are afraid to give out gems, and a lot of people are afraid to share the information because they feel like they don't have, if I tell you this information, then you're going to take my fan base from me. You're going to take my following from me. Bro, there are at least 1 billion people on the earth. How am I going to take your fan base? That's stupid. Nobody can take nobody's fan base. It's not possible. If anything, You can unify fan base even in the form of a beef. Ask me how I know. Kendrick Lamar and Drake did it. I guarantee you, everybody that listens to Kendrick probably listens to Drake. They might not like Drake. They might not like Kendrick. But guess what? During that whole rap battle beef thing, who all made money? Everybody. I know I made some money off of it. And all I did was do commentary. I listened to the song. I said, oh, Kendrick killed this bug. All right. Did all that stuff. Posted on YouTube. Monetize. Thank you. Post clips on Instagram. Instagram say, all right, cool, we'll pay you. Post that joint on Facebook and TikTok. Guess what they say? All right, cool, we'll pay you. While I was live and I was commenting on that joint on TikTok, it was 300 people in the chat sending me tips. What I say? Appreciate it. What I do? Monetize the whole journey. And then I took it down, put it on Patreon, monetize it again. And I didn't even produce one beat for that rap battle. Kendrick and Drake don't know nothing about me, but guess what? We all benefited from that one rap battle beef. It unified everybody, even in the form of a beef. Think about this. So this is how I like to break things down like this, because I think a lot of producers pigeonhole themselves because they feel like, especially the older producers, a lot of the older producers that came up in my era, they feel like if I give you this information, you're going to go and get all of the people that I should be getting placements with, versus them going and doing better and greater stuff and leveling up to be real goats. To me, a real goat is going to be the people that's sharing information to benefit the next generation to get to the next level. There is no reason that everybody that's producing beats should be talking about giving beats away or not making money as a music producer in the next 5 to 10 years. There is no reason that should be happening. You know why I say that? I am currently creating content centered around musicians making money. You know whose fault it is if they're not making the money? It's their fault for not ingesting the content. So that would go back to some of my masterclass. Last night with the masterclass, I was telling them, because the day one, we talk about theory and production. Day two, we talk about the different styles of music and how to produce those different styles. Day three of my masterclass, I talk about branding. The branding side of being a musician, I talk heavily about what's passive and active time on social media. I challenge everybody to hone in on what your thing is and figure out how to offer that to people for free. And then after you offer that to them for free, make them want to pay you for it. They have to feel bad that you gave them so much stuff for free. You should want people to be like, yo, bro, I got to give you something. All right, so we got to wrap it up. All right, so hopefully everybody enjoyed today's podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, I thank you for supporting my platform. Everybody on Patreon, I appreciate y'all. Everybody on Instagram, I appreciate y'all. I really, really do. And till next week, yo, it's been real. If y'all got any questions, anybody want me to coach y'all, links in the bio. Y'all want merch, links in the bio. Y'all want to join the Lucrative community, links in the bio. All right, I will see y'all next week, and y'all have a wonderful weekend. All right, peace.